Hi, everybody. Hey, it's John Sylvain here for the John Sylvain YouTube show. Now, as those of you who've been paying attention, following my musings and rants on my Facebook page and now here on YouTube, you know that I'm really interested in behavioral economics, behavioral psychology, Buddhism, spirituality, and the relationship to happiness and productivity. In these videos and in writings, I try to condense what I read and what I learn into useful nuggets that make a practical difference in my life and yours. I try to do these several times a week when things are not getting in the way. And today, I'd like to turn my attention and yours to expectation and what you expect. So I want to invite you to sort of draw back the curtain and look at the unexamined thoughts about the future because of your thoughts about your future and the future, because what you think is going to happen, what you expect, shapes the way you look at the world. And it shapes how you look at the world shapes what you do and say. And what you do and say affects the future. And what you do, so what you think about the future, obviously, affects the future, right? So Henry Ford said, whether you think you can, or whether you think that you can or that you can't, you're usually right. Which is wonderful, right? I mean, Henry Ford was kind of an awful guy, but he did a lot of great things. Obviously, if you expect to fail, you will probably give up more easily. If you expect to succeed, you may be more inclined to keep trying, especially if you expect it to be challenging. If you expect success to come easily, then you'll probably quit if you run into any challenges. So you see how your expectation changes what you do. Another thing that happens with that expectation is that it changes the way we actually experience what's actually going on. So if you expect somebody to do something or to behave in a certain way and they don't, you're going to be upset. I've talked over the past year really about how the relationship sort of between sin, which is missing the mark, right, and then upset. We basically get upset when things are not the way we expected them to be. And sometimes what's needed is for us to change our expectation, right? A mentor of mine says that an expectation is a resentment under construction. Chuck Palahniuk said, what makes the earth feel like hell is our expectation that it should feel like heaven. So here's a great funny story that just recently happened to me that illustrates this perfectly. So the other day we had dinner and we had a bunch of people over for pizza. It was really wonderful. And there was a little bowl on the table, and it had black sort of spheroids in it. And my friend Therese reached out, grabbed it, and grabbed one of those and popped it in her mouth. And she immediately spit it out because she was expecting an olive, and it was actually a chocolate-covered almond. It wasn't something really disgusting. Usually, a chocolate-covered almond is like, oh, great, this is wonderful. But when you're expecting an olive, it's gross. You have a bad experience. So where do we get these expectations? We get these expectations really from the past. So we base what we think is going to happen on what has happened. And we do this consciously and subconsciously with people in situations that we know and with people in situations that we don't know. And in both cases, we're almost certainly making these predictions with bad data, since you've changed, you're not the same person, and the world has changed. And here's the thing, is that people actually base their expectations and their predictions not on like what happened yesterday, but what happened when they were children, when we were little and we were weak and we didn't understand the motivations behind people's actions. So to give a, really cliched example, if your parents got divorced, you might then think that people leave, people break up, and then you go into every relationship, maybe, with the expectation that people are going to leave. So you have that expectation with someone you're in a relationship with, and you treat them as if they're going to leave, and maybe you treat them badly, and then subconsciously you're kind of driving them away so that they will live up to your expectation, and then they leave, and you go, aha! They left! I knew it! Heraclitus, this is 2,500 years ago, right? Heraclitus said, no man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man. That's right, right? So here's the practical thing. This is a suggestion. So if you're in a conversation with somebody, it's an important conversation, and you have all these expectations, first of all, examine your expectations, right? What do you expect to have happen? And then try and adjust your expectations. And try and look why you have that expectation that they're going to be mean, or they're going to say no, or they're going to say yes, or they're going to not listen to you, or whatever. And now try and give that up. And then try this acting exercise when you're in it. Focus. This is a way to get out of your head when you're on stage with somebody that I learned a long, long time ago. So when you're on stage, you need to be in the present moment, pretending you're in the present moment, right? And so sometimes you get aware of the audience, and it's taking you out. You focus on your acting partner. Focus on the person you're having a conversation with. Look at their eyes. Look at their face. Look at what's really going on. And now, listen to what they're saying. And when they're done talking, instead of saying, no, you're wrong, say, let me see if I got this straight, and recreate in your own words what they said so that they know that you heard them. And then look at the same time for what positive thing they're committed to in their speaking, and say, okay, I want to, and this is what I'm sensing that you're really committed to underneath what you just said. Just try and recreate that until you're talking about what they're saying, so that they really feel like you got them, and you're focusing your attention not on your expectation of the outcome or whatever, but on what they're really saying. And then see what happens. Focus on being present in the present, and say what there is to be said in that present, not what you plan to say or what you expected to happen, or focusing on the expectation or the outcome. See what happens when you don't know what's going to happen. All right, have a fantastic day. Hopefully, my expectation is that when this goes up on YouTube, it will automatically go to Facebook, Twitter, and the blog. This is an experiment. I set up this experiment. I hope it works. Anyway, bye.